everybody, how you doing? Welcome to the Bones Collector, and today on Christmas Eve we're going to do our top 10 of 2022, and what a better time to do it than on Christmas Eve, a gift to everyone, because we just love sharing these top 10 lists with you of games that we love and we enjoy and we can recommend to you. So one thing I do want to tell you about, if you watch our channel at all, you know we play lighter games, so the games on this list will be light to medium, nothing heavier than a medium weight game. We just we like that type of complexity, and that's mostly what we play. We also exclusively play at two-player unless we otherwise note that. But all these games play wonderfully at two, or I wouldn't recommend them. And some of them we've played a higher player count, some of them we haven't. But mostly I just want to recommend these as two-player games. There will be no roll and write games on my list ever. It's just something I don't like. I'm never going to get out a pen and play a board game. It's just not going to do it. There will be no games with companion apps. If a game depends on an app to make it function, I just don't want anything to do with it. That's not what we do here. I just don't like that. There will be no CCG or LCG games, collectible card games, living card games. No way, none of that. And the games that we recommend also have very little take that. So I wanted to make you aware of those things if you didn't already know them. So let's get going with the top 10 list, starting with Foundations of Rome. Foundations of Rome is a beautifully published and produced game. Huge buildings on the board. It's just a gateway style game that's very good. Even with the expansions, it's not very complex at all, but it's fun to play, and when you see people around playing it, they're always having a good time. As you're buying deeds and putting those buildings out on the board for the in the spaces where the deeds that you own, and trying to score points in different ways by how those buildings are placed next to each other. And it's just a wonderful good time. However, it's such a big box. They made a decision to make it for 5 players. That's 5 big trays of pieces in that box. Just too much for us. We'll probably never own that game, but every time I go to convention, I try to play it just for fun. But that is Foundations of Rome. In at number 9, Guild of Merchant Explorers. Now, this game is by a couple of designers that we love, Gilbert and Dunstan. Gilbert Sullivan. But they did a game called Chocolate Factory that we really like, and we also really like Elysium, and that was a collaboration. Those are collaboration games with them. And Gilbert, I believe, also was involved in Mandala, which is way up in my top 100. So very reputable board game designers. When we heard they did this game, the first thing I did when I saw this game on the table was really turn away. It was really ugly game. Very unappealing looking, but I had to play it because these guys are good at what they do, and we really enjoyed the game. Guild of Merchant Explorers. It is a action selection type of game where you have a explorer board where it's going to have 5 different cards, or maybe 6. I think 5 different cards that turn up, and it has shapes on them. You're going to have to put those on your explorer board, your world building board that you have in front of you, and then also you'll have special cards that give you extra placements of these cubes and villages. As you put together different sections of the board, you'll be able to put out villages, and you can build towers and do different things. And the game is absolutely fantastic. It would have been better as a roll and write, even though I don't do roll and writes, because AEG made I think a flaw by making this game so small, because when you're putting out those cubes and the buildings and so forth, it doesn't take much to hit them and send them flying, and I just think that was a bad decision. They should have made those boards twice as big, and they could have made a bifold board and had a big chunky buildings and treasure chests to put out there. Would have been fantastic and well received, but because of what they did, actually this game would have been up to number 4 slot had it been produced properly or published properly. I really am disappointed in the way, but you know, it happens. So yeah, we'll never own this game just for that reason. It's a deal breaker. Everything's so tiny, you're just going to hit it with your fingers, and even when you're doing cleanup after the round, you have to be very careful when you're doing that, because you're trying to do your scoring while you're doing cleanup. But hey, the game is fantastic. If you like a nice light puzzle that is well designed by 2 great board game designers, Guild of Merchant Explorers. Number 8, Ark Nova. Ark Nova, we played at a convention, and we both loved Ark Nova. But again, this game is very long and will never be in my library just for that reason. It just takes too long to play, and the whole time I was playing it, I was thinking, you know, I could be playing Wingspan, which is very similar in theme. You're trying to put And in Ark Nova, you're putting animals in their habitat, and in Wingspan, you're putting birds in their habitat, and plus a bunch of other mechanics around that. But it's a wonderful, fun game, Ark Nova, and it's in at the number 8 spot. Number 7, a family weight, wonderful game called Trekking Through History by Charlie Binks. And Charlie did 2 games before this, trekking the national parks and trekking the world. And he really does a great job of, I don't know who's responsible for the publishing of these games, but Trekking Through History is outstanding. When you take the lid off the box, it has a neoprene mat that fits right in the box, and just all the pieces in the game are fantastic. The card stock is linen and very nice, big cards, and you're just selecting them off a row of a market board, and you get the benefits that are below them and the ones that are on them, and you're going to lay those cards out in chronological order. When you can no longer do that, that's the end of that trek, and you score by how many cards you have in your trek and how many points you can get on a little board that you're placing down these other plastic pieces, different shapes and so forth, to fill in rows and columns and make extra points. And it has a deck of cards. What are those called? I don't remember, but it changes the rule. You put them in the center of the
time warp.
Oh, time warp. It's like an expansion or something, and you put one of those cards in the middle of the time track, and it changes the rule for that particular round. But it's a lot of fun. Trekking Through History, great family weight game. It's outstanding. I love that game. Number 6, Caverna Cave versus Cave Big Box. And a lot of you are going to say, what? I mean, Caverna came out a long time ago, and we loved Caverna, but it just was too much. It was made for 7 players. It was a box full of components that we just would never use or never need, so we had to move that game on, and we decided to try this Caverna Cave versus Cave, and we really liked it. And then when they came out with the big box, it also has Era 2, the expansion in it, and so we really loved that game. And we've played it multiple times at the basic game and with the expansion, and the whole thing is beautiful. We will never play Caverna again because this box is outstanding. That's Cave versus Cave Big Box. And also I want to mention, by Uwe Rosenberg, by the way, and then also there was a Agricola All Creatures Big and Small big box that came out, and we jettisoned Agricola after playing that game. So those 2 small box games by Uwe that put out, which are condensed versions of the big box, their big brother games, Caverna and Agricola, and we adopted those as our stepchildren, and we love those games very much. Number 5 is a game that surprised me this year called Ascension Tactics. And we have played Ascension and liked it. It's a deck building game, and you earn honor points by how you build your deck and so forth. In this game, you're allowed to build your deck, and you have heroes that are going to go out on the board in an area control fashion and do some battle, do some skirmishing out there. I couldn't believe I liked this game, but it's well done, well conceived, and it has, I think it's $42 or something like that, and you get a lot for $42. A campaign book with 12 different scenarios and a campaign in it, and just a beautiful big deck of cards for the deck building. It's just an outstanding game. That's Ascension Tactics. And also, I appreciate the publishers, which they slip my mind right now, Ultra Pro or something like that. They did a standee. Stoneblade Entertainment. Okay, Stoneblade, and they did a standee version, which is what we bought. I didn't want to have all those plastic gray minis that just do nothing for me in the game. They did a standee full color version of the game, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Stoneblade Entertainment. Number 4 is a game that's been around forever, but this is the first version of this. It's called Clank Catacombs. And boy, we had a lot of fun playing Clank Catacombs. Another deck builder. We always loved the base game, but it just was missing something as far as we were concerned. And when we played Catacombs, I realized what it was. This really took Clank up to a new level. As you're laying those dungeon tiles out, you just don't know what's going to happen. In the original Clank, you knew exactly where the artifacts were. In Clank Catacombs, you have no idea until you lay out a tile and there's an artifact. And then you can go after it, and you don't want to get caught in the depths, and you can get trapped down there. If you're looking around for artifacts or doing different things and somebody's got artifacts and they're heading out, you're going to have to lay tiles to get the heck out of there, and it's really a challenge to do so. I love it so much. That's Clank Catacombs by Paul Denon, who also did a game in our library called the Dune Imperium. So we really love both those games. In number 3 slot, from Flat Out Games, they did it again, Verdant. Verdant has a bunch of designers on that Flat Out Games team, and it's just an outstanding game in the line of Calico and Cascadia, which they did in the prior 2 years. Cascadia won the Spiel des Jahres. Calico is my favorite of the 3 by far because it's just so tense, but Verdant is right there. The beautiful puzzle game, just like the other 2. So if you like Calico, you like Cascadia. You're going to love Verdant. It's about plants, and it's well produced. It's perfectly produced for the price point. I think it's $29.99. I've seen it on sale for 24 bucks. You can't have more fun than that for $24. It's absolutely outstanding. And there is no number 2. You know why? Because there are 2 games that have tied for number 1. That's right. I couldn't make up my mind. But you know what? This is my channel. We're just going to call it a tie for the number 1 game of the year, and both games are outstanding as far as we're concerned. One of them is Merchants of the Dark Road. The other one is Orichalcum by Bruna Cathala. Merchants of the Dark Road was by Brian Scher. And I tell you what, when we play Merchants of the Dark Road, it's a pick up and deliver game. It is so thematic and beautiful on the table, and when you play it, you actually feel like you are a merchant on the Dark Road. I just love that game. One thing I would suggest, if you're going to get that game and really delve into the theme of it and really get yourself in the mood to play that game, go out and get yourself the metal coins and the silk purses that go along with that game. It really takes it up to a level, and like I say, when we play that game, we are just having so much fun. It is not a difficult game. It's light, but it has a nice scoring mechanism where whichever is least, your money or your points, is going to be your score for the game, and then you only have 13 turns to make that happen. So you're looking at your dice. It's a dice bumping mechanism, and as those dice disappear, you only got 13 turns, and they disappear gradually, and you're counting, oh, I want to get this done, how am I going to get this done? I only got 3 more turns, 3 more dice, what am I going to do? And trying to get, you're counting your money in the purse, and you're looking at your points, and you're trying to get that balance going so that you can get them as close as possible for your final score. Orichalcum, I always have trouble saying that name, is just a wonderful, wonderful game by Bruna Cathala. As soon as I found out he had this design, I wanted to try it, and I wasn't disappointed. It's right there with my favorites, Abyss and Yamatai, 5 Tribes. He's done it again, Bruna Cathala with Orichalcum. It takes place in Atlantis, and Orichalcum is some precious metal that's the currency in the game, and you first one to 5 points wins that game. You got great big chunky coins that you're going to put above your player board, because you have so much going on your player board with selecting buildings that are going to give you special benefits, and trying to get terrains together to attract a titan and put that in your employ with special powers. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful game. That's Orichalcum by Bruna Cathala. That's my number 1 and number 1 games this year. I hope they do well at Essen. And hey, that's our list for 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you can rest assured that every game that I had on that list, you can play it and have a good time. And that's what it's all about for us. We like, again, lighter games, and these 10 games fit that bill. And we hope that you get the chance, if you haven't tried them, to maybe go to a convention or go to your local game store and check them out and play them, get a chance to play them before you buy, because that's always a good idea. So yeah, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to every one of you, or Happy Hanukkah, or whatever you're celebrating. You know, we love every one of you. Thank you for watching The Old Bones Collector. Who knows how many years I'll be here. And guess what? I look like I'm up in New York City. I'm dressed so warmly, but you know what? Where I'm at? I live in Orlando, Florida, and when I got up this morning, it was 29 degrees. I was freezing my tail off. But we decided to come out here and do the video by our Christmas village and just show that off to you guys. So hey, we love every one of you. Have a great holiday season. Happy New Year. I hope the new year is prosperous and just wonderful for every one of you guys out there. And we'll see you the next time in the Bones Collector. And hey, make sure to keep on board gaming, because you know what? It's the best doggone hobby on the planet. See you next time.